ready for the weekend. I'm joined now on The Breakfast Show with OC Davies by some people who I'm really hoping are ready for the weekend as they bring a family story to life at the Boulevard Theatre. Delighted to be joined by Becky, Dan and Aaron. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Morning. Becky, it feels like only 4 days ago or 5 days ago that we were chatting here on The Breakfast Show.
I know, it's been a while.
It has. You were talking about the Lightning Thief Percy Jackson musical. How did it go?
It was amazing. The kids were outstanding. They smashed it. I couldn't be prouder.
Amazing. That was your musical theatre directorial debut. And I'm going to pass over to Aaron. You're an old hat at this now.
Yes, going grey from directing at this point.
And we've got Dan with us as well, who is very suitably stood in front of a wardrobe. Hello.
Indeed. Good morning. Good morning,
Good.
everybody. Yeah, I'm calling you from the land of Spare as you as fans of the show will know. Interesting. Aslan's fact of the day, if you permit me, Tom. This wardrobe behind me was my grandmother's, and during the Second World War, her house was bombed, and actually got a shrapnel mark on the base of this wardrobe. So it's got a bit of interesting history behind this wardrobe.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that on this, the 11th of November, where we're all thinking about those atrocities that have happened in the past and a living relic of someone that you know that lived through that. That's very timely. Gosh. And it was it was during this time, of course, that the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe takes place, with the kids having to move away from their families and their homes. Aaron, give us a bit of an overview before we jump into what you're bringing to stage of the show for those who may not be familiar with it.
So it's a story about 4 children during the Second World War who are sent away from London from the Blitz to a little, well, not a little, sort of country manor with a rather eccentric professor who has this mysterious wardrobe. And then when they walk inside one night during a game, they find that the whole magical land inside covered in snow, where it's always winter but never Christmas because it's ruled by the evil queen. And they suddenly realize that they're part of a prophecy that will return summer to the land of Narnia.
Wow. And I think growing up, anyone who saw the film all tried having a look inside their parents' wardrobe to see exactly what was behind there. You mentioned the evil queen there. We happen to have the evil queen on the call with us here this morning. Becky, you're responsible for turning this land into winter, but no Christmas.
Yeah, my bad. It's yes, she to be fair, she's a baddie that gets absolutely no redemption. She's just evil. There's no soft spot to her at all. She is as cold as the ice that she has created around her.
Gosh. And we've also got Dan on the call, the antithesis of the Snow Queen. Give us a flavour as to who you're playing then. Dan, you've already mentioned Aslan's fact of the day. You are the big grizzly lion.
Yeah, I don't know about antithesis. I'll have to write that one down. But yeah, that's me. I am king of that sort of realm for that time being. I could be a guardian angel really to the 4 young evacuees that have come through into Narnia. And I just keep an eye on them, making sure that they're doing the right things, and a few little plots and turns along the way.
You're there to guide them, and there's very strong connotations as to Aslan's character and an otherworldly being to be there that's always watching over them and comes when they most need it. In your past profession, Dan, have you likened that with you as that guardian angel view coming in?
Well, I guess so. I mean, certainly as a dad as well, you've also looking after the kids in your life and the youngsters in your life, and obviously then in my previous profession, you're looking after people, keeping an eye on things and giving that sort of advice and guidance and making sure people are doing the right thing, I suppose. Yeah, good analogy.
Yeah, making sure people are doing the right thing. You've got Aaron there as director, and it's a magical world, Narnia, with Mr. Tumnus walking around. How are you going to bring these characters to life at the Boulevard Theatre in Milford Haven?
So it's a very different production than I think we've ever done before. After we did Hamlet, Drew set me the challenge of, he loved Hamlet, but what's next? And it's got to be bigger. So I think this is probably the biggest we've ever gone. It's a cast of around 30 of adults and children. So it's the first time the youth theatre have predominantly been part of a play as well. The first time we've done a play with an ensemble. And in order to bring all the magic, we have got every special effect under the book. So we have completely taken the show off the stage. It's in the round staging, so audience would be all around. We spent last night moving our projectors, so all of the projections will go onto the floor. So our cast will walk through projections of snow, and you'll see the blitz happening on the floor. We've got some choreography, and of course a handful of incredibly detailed and larger than life puppets.
Puppets. Now, I remember when you were thinking of this plan, Aaron, you got very excited and you were like, there's a show coming up which I'm really excited about because we're going to be having more puppets, because of course we did Avenue Q last year, and you're incredibly excited about these types of, because they're not little handhelds like for Avenue Q. These are they more animalistic? Describe the type of puppetry you're going to be having.
Yes, so we're going through a Japanese style called Bunraku puppets, and it's probably even more famously styled by the likes of Lion King in the West End, where you've got the double event, so you see both the actor and the puppet. And we've got some little small hand puppets like the dwarf, which is actually one of the Avenue Q puppets, with some lovely bits covering him up, all the way then to Mr. and Mrs. Beaver, who are positioned on front of Dean and Jill Richards, and they've got these rods to move their arms and their head. Then, of course, Aslan himself is a 3-person, 7-foot tall, 7-foot long lion that utilizes, so very similar to the horses in Warhorse, where 2 of the actors are inside this chassis, and their arms are the legs, and then Dan's got this rather impressive head that he's got to operate with this massive mane of wildflowers. And we've also got, that's arriving this week, I think it's a 12-foot puppet, but once you put Roger Leese inside of it, becomes an 18-foot giant.
Wow, that's going to be such a feast. And Becky, I'm imagining that you get to oversee all of this. So you've got to see, because Dan's in it, whereas Becky, you get to overwatch, you get to see these characters develop. And you were directing some of the youth cast only last week, and now more of the youth cast are involved in this production. What's it been like going through the motions and building these characters and building the puppetry and building this story in an unconventional space?
I mean, kudos to the guys that have built these puppets. I am not myself very creative, so I have stayed away as much as possible. But they have done such an incredible job. Aslan looks amazing. I mean, when Aaron first sort of described the show to me after auditions, I was just like captivated just from listening to him. I was like this, so, and they look amazing. The puppets are the way that they're controlled, and it is getting to the point now where you're not looking at the actors even as an actor on stage. You know, when I'm, for example, my son Corey is playing the dwarf, and I'm not finding myself looking at Corey now. I'm finding myself looking at this dwarf, because it's just so in the moment and being in the space. And obviously second show for me in the round, although this is more complete in the round than Rita was. But it's just such an immersive experience, and there are scenes in there that I properly get to oversee, as in lording over them, which just look incredible with all the kids and all the adults just doing their thing and becoming these incredible creatures. It's fantastic. Aaron should be very proud of what he's done.
Just to jump in on Becky mentioning the helpline, I just want to shout out, we've dubbed them Aslan's Angels. I won't go through the list because I'm bound to forget someone who's helped, but there's just been a group of us who have been down there almost every evening for about 5 weeks now, finally weaving flowers into this main, paper mache and galore. The back room of Boulevard has been just this workshop for about 5 weeks, and the dedication of those angels has been incredible. Like there's not a hope we'd even be here at this point. I've had to make some cuts that I needed the help of people to go, no, we don't need that. We need to focus on this one. So they've been fantastic.
Yeah. And then Dan, we've got the vantage point of Becky of overseeing these puppets and actually getting to watch. You're the man in the puppet and portraying this pride of the lion. What's it like being the actor within that framework?
It's quite a special character and a special role to play, to be honest with you, Tom. He really sets what goes on, certainly in the second act, to have that control, and which gives its own difficulty, really, to be able to get that level of control as an actor and a performer, to ensure that the audience engages with Aslan and ensure that they know that exactly who he is and what he's all about, and how he leads and sort of directs the sort of second act and the narrative of the show. So it's really is a strong character to play. Really quite a well-known character in the land of children's literature, but it really is quite a special role to play.
I can't wait to find out more. Around Tenby over on Instagram, it would be great to see them featured at Manorbier Castle, one of the film locations of The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe. Hey, that's a pretty good idea, that.
Yeah, we could certainly look at a tour.
And then Aaron, if someone out there now, they're watching, they're listening, and they're thinking, I need to see my favorite film in real life, I need to see my favorite book in real life, where's it going to be and how can they get tickets?
So we are performing at Boulevard Theatre this week, so this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can get your tickets at boulevard-theatre.com, but act very quickly because by all accounts they are very quick, nearly sold out. So act now.
Amazing. It's going to be a theatrical experience like no other. And you mentioned theatre in the round. Some of the people are going to be sat on the stage watching this.
Yeah, so fully in the round. So we've got some of the audience now actually sitting on stage, which will have a very interesting viewpoint then as the wardrobe comes in through them. Aslan, I think, makes his first entrance through the audience that are on stage. And it's a show that, because it's around, you could go and see every night of the performance and sit in a different location and get a completely different show.
It's going to be fantastic. Get your tickets now before they sell out. Opening night is on Thursday. It runs for Friday and Saturday. Becky, Aaron, Dan, thank you so much for joining us here on The Breakfast Show with OC Davies.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Get your tickets now. 8:42 here. We've got some celebrations on the way for us after a little bit of Chapel Roan and Hot to Go. Cheers, guys.
Thanks now.
Embrace every moment behind the wheel in your happy space with